my intuition tells me also at least the bronze crypto is kind of bugged. I don't know if it's true, but mathematically it should have a higher fluctuation and not always be at 1 or 2 gold, and it is way too often there, so I will not buy this. You cannot make me. Okay, we are though getting rid of those two, have the hidden first of all on the duct tape as well as next to the bomb squad, and obviously we want to have a battery in. The rays are especially early really important because every ray procs the omega ray as well as charging sometimes the battery and stuff, so there's a lot of synergies going on. This is by far the best setup and I feel super strong here. I don't think we can lose a fight. Merry Christmas, tend the kind. I know that I am in the area where you hopefully understand my thoughts, but that does not mean that there are a lot of quirks in it and like wrong structuring grammatically structures where I should have positioned some words differently to make it smoother to listen to for you, because you as a native speaker should obviously rather easily find all the small mistakes, as well as there might be wrong vocabulary and you would have to think around to figure out what I actually meant. So I feel like there's still a lot of room for improvement, and as a little bit of perfectionist, as well as making it a little more enjoyable for my native speakers, I'm still inclined to say I want to improve there. So improvement is still something that is good. So if you want to put in the effort once a while and feedback some quirks and errors, I will happily take the opportunity to improve and learn. That is something I like to do in general, at least if it is important to me. There is stuff I know that I'm not particularly good in and I don't care too much. For example, I have a hard time remembering words in general and names, and I think that is not a super needed skill in general, so I don't need to improve on that. But speaking English and having a good experience for my viewers is something that I value high enough to want to improve on. Of like current meta, actual meta. Okay, yeah, it's the current matter. I think sometimes I may have said actual matter, and the current matter is the current word. So yeah, that is very good, Stille Beobachter. Thank you so much for the value input. I think I got the hang of the error I did there. Okay, here small items are far better than shield skills and relax, so we are going with the small items here. Upgrading obviously is good. I don't value the memory card too highly. If you ever find an item that you either think I should value more highly, I will give you at least the reasoning why I don't think so and skipped it. Or I even consider or reconsider and say, well, maybe you were right and I was wrong. Like there was a Fury Katana that I probably in general actually fully undervalued. So that is pretty good if you point it out and help me also improve you. Even though slow items have a decent pool, I might be inclined to say getting some gold here in this situation and XP is also good, though considering we could upgrade LEDs or the duct tape, we should take the obstacle course. The more I think about it, the more I'm likely to say, well, probably this is still better over that, because the pool is just like fully in our favor here at the moment. I mean, that is a pylon. I'm not running a pylon, but it is a decent amount of gold, so yeah, okay. I feel really strong. I don't have any weapons on the board. I think we should get over the line with the Hydro Dude here. Merry Xmas. Just one thing that triggers it's provide feedback, not feedback. Even though it's a verb, it's not really used as a standalone. Um, okay. it's provide feedback. Okay. Yeah, you are definitely correct as well there. So thank you for that feedback. In the future, I try to remember to say that differently. I also think it's only the bronze crypto where I feel it is bugged, by the way. Like, I did not have the same experience with the other cryptos, silver, gold, and diamond. So the only crypto that actually seems bugged to me is the bronze one. Whether that is intentional to make it just not as powerful on the early days, because otherwise, especially I think early crypto would generate just a little bit more gold than maybe it is warranted, and therefore it would be a very strong item. Whereas later, where gold is not as important anymore, the other cryptos that occur are not as, the power increase is there, but not as much. I don't know. For me, it is just a bronze crypto. Cooldown reduction on the core is pretty good. Cooldown reduction on all burn items is probably okay-ish here. Income in a tool, even though tool has higher potential on average, it is just a little bit of gold. I, though, value core cooldown reduction a lot higher than just reducing the cooldown of those items, because the core is just important and also the item that will stay on the board forever. So we are doing this. Working at the docks, small items or gold. We are rich, so we don't need to high roll and just generate gold here. I would do this over the Cage of Riches, but I rather look at small items here. This is a small item I like to get. I don't value the Uzi too highly, even though it is a fast proc. I at least say in most cases that if I don't have a better piece, obviously it is good, but my evaluation is I rather have an item that is a little slower than, I don't know, lose like in total, if I have a full board 0.2 seconds effective cooldown decrease on the core, and the core is proccing every 5 seconds instead of every 2.2 seconds or something, but therefore have a high value item here. The Uzi is literally not doing anything as per damage output. It would be just a faster trigger, whereas, for example, the bomb squad with an effective cooldown of 3.8 or something will at least provide a lot of burn damage over time, and therefore I value this more than the Uzi. That would be different if I had a metronome in this situation and not full haste uptime, obviously. So there are considerations. Maybe for the metronome options, even though it's hard to find metronome, it might be correct though, just to bank it, but I will not use it in this spot for certain. Okay, there is the LEDs. I will buy those. I do not care for the GPU anymore. I think I have better targets on the board, and just a little bit of haste on the core is not as valuable to me anymore. Same consideration as with the Uzi. If I have a fast proccing core already, even though this makes it a little faster because of the haste, I value having something that does, having something on the board that does something, and like an Aegis giving me some shields in between, as well as taking extra burn from the scaling, is probably more valuable than a GPU, especially if it's still like silverish. Anyway, here I don't like gumballs. Small weapon isn't doing anything. I'm not really rich, though illusory maybe or maybe not. We should talk about it at least. We're going to Curio. This is a good thing. Getting one extra burn on the core is pretty good. Also getting 3 extra burn on the core is absolutely amazing here, as well as getting a knee brace. Considering, I mean, we are never using this, so maybe we should sell those off. Can we afford the extra heal, and do we want to afford the extra heal here? It's the last encounter of the day. We will get a little bit of income again, though reducing with 3 more gold is not the best, but also not the worst, and 10 heal actually on the day for encounter like PvP fight matter, so I will still do this. Only discussion I think we should have here is the illusory. I mean, it's multicasting 3 times and it's slowing, so it is kind of good. And probably, therefore, since I have 2 friends at the moment, and it's also charging a little bit on the bomb squad, it should be better than the gamma ray actually. So I will do it like this. Is the gamma ray better than the Aegis here? Maybe, maybe not. I'm not so certain. I also want to have a decent amount of burn items on the board to have like targets that can scale from the Omega Ray. I feel like this might be just the strongest. I still value silver LEDs over a silver gamma ray in most cases. Maybe it is different if I see my opponent, but for now, this has to be it. Against the dually, I don't think I want to have this gamma ray here. I rather have faster procs. I mean, it's the same. But I want to have consistency on the slow anyway, so this has to be it. Merry Christmas. Nobody knows the best. Also, thank you so much for your follow. As well as Scape, thank you for the follow. To anyone but you, thank you for the follow. And maybe you were the one I pronounced wrong earlier, so in case I did it because I struggled reading it out, I'm sorry. Thank you for the follow. And yeah, doesn't Icy Ray proc more often than the healing guy? With the Illusory, probably now. It might proc more often. I still like kind of value the Aiden sometimes if they're around the same, just because the Aiden has a little bit more of consistency and earlier start. The battery is in general at least delayed, and if they're about the same, I prefer often the Aiden. Here though, since I have now Illusory, we should have in general just a little bit more charges on the battery, so you might be correct in that case. In general, though, if you just have like even with the gamma ray and a core, as soon as at least in the time where the core is not super fast, they're about the same. And then I value the consistency here a little more. Here though, you might be correct. Let's see in the PvE fight, we have them next to each other and we can just do approximation there. I will catch up with you just in a second. Let's keep going for just a bit. Friends have a high pool. I have already the Aiden. Relax isn't doing anything because next is a PvE fight. 2 gold and XP though is amazing. Going here is okayish. Looking at random tools is okayish. But I still have a lot of gold here next is a PvE fight, so I can also spend and roll. I like to just look a little bit at items here. So we are just doing this. Out of those options, I prefer the free loot items. We can get silver feathers and cooldown reduction, and we don't need the imminent power of cinders. Though, if you wouldn't have like, if you would struggle with power here, cinders is absolutely amazing. Okay, we can use this. We have a knee brace, and we will do this for certain on our core. So let's do this like here. I want to look a little bit at the fight though, see how fast, like how hard the how much difference we can see in the procs between those two. I would wager due to the illusory, this might be now a little bit faster, but I still want to get an approximation in, so I will watch the fight and not catch up with you in chat. Sorry, I was muted there. Okay, okay. What I wanted to say, I think I was muted in that time frame, is if you watch the fight, yeah, I was muted. Sorry. So I don't know when I muted myself. I'm back up again now. So again, I watched this fight and didn't catch up with chat. So if I have seen it correctly, for the first few procs, we saw that the Aiden actually was ahead on procs on the Bazaar, and only due to the illusory we saw a catch up and maybe a little bit more procs on the Bazaar in total over the fight, because we got like a full charge kinda on the Bazaar from the illusory, and now you would be correct, at least over a longer period of time, that the Bazaar is just a little bit better. So that is correct. If we had here in Gamma Ray, I think maybe the Aiden would still be better because we have a high cooldown comparison on the core and not as fast. So consistency wise, I still think I like this a little bit more, just to have like a little bit more uptime on the shield procs, like a more consistency shield procs, because I value the duct tape, especially with the low amount of shield at the moment, more for the consistency out procs on shield. Just though if I have burn damage coming in, I reduce once in a while a burn tick by 50%. So even though this was correct and in this specific setup, don't be fooled though. The Bazaar is in the mid game not on par with an Uzi and only around on par with an Aiden. Though it is a fast proccing item therefore and not the slowest at all. So it has by far no 6-second cooldown. Okay, I will buy here chocolate, and I will value though, I mean, I will take the conservative option here. I still want to have a little bit of money. I feel like going broke too early on the chocolate, even though 50 health might provide an edge, not picking up items and upgrades as well as not being able to buy the golden skulls if they occur early is just a little bit more inconsistent and as strong. So I'm there more the Schwäbische Hausfrau and being a little bit more conservative with my money. I want to catch up with chat for a second and then we are going on. How much do you like random tools? So there is a few random tools I like. Obviously upgrading a duct tape might be okayish. If the pool is only to dually, for the ignition core best tool is obviously the soldering gun, but it is rather unlikely and needs a lot of high roll. On average, I always say it might be a bronze battery. I don't value a bronze battery highly, so it's just 1 gold with very unlikely high roll potential. And also I value tools a little bit, at least on the ignition core. If I were to be on the companion core where I don't want to have any tools, I would say it is probably not the best thing to pick. Even like a random shield should net you at least more gold over the tool pool. So for example, there, for multiple reasons, I don't value it highly. Thank you, Reactor, for the follow. I wish you also a Merry Christmas, hint of sarcasm, sleep well, and see you around. Thank you so much for tuning in for a second. How many viable 10-win builds would you say Dooley has? Question is, if viable you mean consistently always kinda getting 10 wins, or viable in a way of if you achieve this build, you get 10 wins. If it is the first, I would say maybe 4 or 5-ish without going through all of them. Maybe it should be more like 7, 8-ish. The more I think about it, I would say even the red cores are in a way of viable and you can achieve rather regular 10 wins. If it is more about this build is sometimes occurring and gets 10 wins, like for example, I don't think you can force a Mama Saw build reliable, but you can obviously get your 10 wins with Malmasor. So I would say if that is your consideration and only thing the viable means getting 10 wins and not viable in you can have it all the time, I would say probably at least there should be, due to how the game is structured, still 20, 30 builds that you can figure out to build. Just scroll down in the Discord, where like the main Discord of the Bazaar, where everyone is posting their builds, and most of the time they're posting 10-1 builds. I would say you can find probably 30 different builds on Dooley that have unique features, where you find some sort of monster loot, where you find like, I don't know, all kinds of different stuff you can make work and get your 10 wins in, though you cannot guarantee always find this item from a monster to make it work every single run. Okay, I will take small items over medium items here. I don't regard batteries highly, nor do I think a plasma grenade is any way near strong. Okay, this is by far the best. I still think I like this more in case my opponent is a burn dually. And yeah. Thank you, Wilson. Merry Christmas to you. And yeah, thank you so much. Thank you all for the kind words. Okay. So he just had a silver ray and therefore got over us, got the better of us. I feel like that was not much I could have done there, to be fair. It was just a strong opponent. I mean, he won because he, like you could have seen, he had definitely in the end more burn on his core, and therefore probably just because his ray, his omega ray was silver and had therefore the double amount of scaling on his board kinder, he just got a little bit the edge over us in the fight. I feel that was probably why we lost, though I didn't watch the fight in total. I was catching up with chat here. Still again, day 6, 7, 8, prioritizing the risk is a lot more valuable to us because the high PvE encounters you can get on day 7. Still just a freebie, but we want to play the odds here. I will take the scrap shield here over the loot items. I feel like getting a little bit more shield on our duct tape is just a little bit more consistent. So I will do this. And I will sell this off. I will look at small items over the temp boost though. And I will definitely happily do this. I will definitely take in the soldering gun. I will get rid of the illusory ray. Reasoning is, this is, even though it is okayish and does a little bit of stuff, it is not as good as it looks. And I will shortly explain why it is that way. Even though it is a ray that has like, so illusory ray is a ray by now, so it is proccing my other rays and therefore kind of good, right? It is a 7-second cooldown on it. That is very, very slow. And the downside of the high cooldowns, and it's probably a similar situation with the rocket launcher, is you have a lot of intervals you're missing. So if you remember when we looked at the battery and the Aiden, it took a long while time before it catches up, and then it would probably fall a little bit behind, and again takes a long time before the battery catches up. So we have a lot of missed intervals that we might have needed, that we are losing. And this, I would say, delay in the procs, because it only happens after 6 seconds and not consistently every 3 or 4 seconds, is a huge downside, because especially if it is close, just getting in, not the consistency, and having to wait always a long time before it procs again is just a huge downside, and therefore the illusory, even though it is okayish, it is not good. The effect of the slow, even though it is okay, we can get our LED slows in and increase the LEDs over time. So I wager this is now out. I rather have the soldering gun. It is 2 seconds faster, so by far better. Here we might consider the gamma ray in the future now, since we are falling short on the ray scaling though, so that has to change. I'm liking more the Aegis over the bomb squad, even though I know the bomb squad is a little stronger in the damage output and just a little bit faster. I value here as well again the extra shield just a little higher, but it is definitely a close consideration. Okay, here we can take the strongest fight. We are now a little stronger again, though we never got level up reward to upgrade if I have seen it correctly. Otherwise I missed it and was a huge misplay. So our Omega Ray unfortunately is still bronze. That is a huge weakness in our build at the moment. Are you looking for any specific item right now? I mean, I would say now we have like all the good items already here. I cannot think of many good items now. I would probably pick up a golden metronome, maybe even a silver one, because we don't have solved the haste issue. Though I would prefer solving the haste issue with skills a lot more, though that is super unreliable and not guaranteed at all. Other than that, I think the most weak, like the strongest weakness here, or like I don't know, like the weakest link in our setup is the Omega Ray. This is only bronze. By now, if you had like more luck, you could have it already silver or golden if you got like 2 level up rewards, since it is on the board since day 1. I would always use my bronze level up or silver level up reward, obviously on the Omega Ray, and then we would have been so much stronger. Now, this is the thing I look probably the most for, though, as mentioned a couple of times, it is super unreliable to see, so we have to just pray for the RNG gods or get other means to level up. I don't think Quixel has the Ray upgrade. I rather take the consistency and the extra HP here. Same consideration. Even though Keener is like kind of good, I maybe want to get like some chocolate in. We are struggling with the health here. We should get in the chocolate. I have to make space, so goodbye to you, barbed wire, and hello to the golden chocolate. Friend cooldown reduction is just 1 friend. Random friend is a little bit of gold. Tool is bugged. Cinders are good. Upgrading an item is where we struggle the most, so upgrading the Omega Ray helped here. Maybe you need to complain sometimes to get it. Okay, this is the strongest I can think of. We should be favored in most matchups. An interesting tool answer. I see most combo potential with those tools. So if you go on the docks, you can also get, for example, the rivet gun, where the tool pool in general has at least a little bit more high roll potential. If the tool pool, though, is randomly outside of the docks, it is most of the time only dually items, if I am correct, and therefore a lot weaker because, and that is a personal opinion, I also value, for example, the battery not as highly. So it is always obviously a little bit dependent on what core you're playing, what you're looking for, and what are the alternative options. Solar farm. No, I don't think I want to get a solar farm here. I feel like the solar farm is falling off rather soon. It is a large item, so therefore I would have to cut a decent amount of items, and the regeneration is not good enough. Freeze is and slow is starting to be more likely, so also that is a downside of the solar farm, and it's a kind of huge investment and not even guaranteed to show up. I wouldn't probably put a solar farm at this point on the board anymore. I don't value it as highly. Obviously, if I would stumble here on a golden solar farm, I might reconsider. But this is more like I stumble onto it and fall with my face straight first into it, and not be like, okay, I take every large item vendor and look for it. We could look for the free skill here, and probably should. The alternative is to go for Midsworth here, though since this is a diluted pool now and not only small items, there will be a decent amount of large items showing up in which I don't have any interest anymore. Like there's no interest in large items anymore. I will go with the freeze high roll. So I think there's a decent chance we have a gamma ray at the moment. So we take the freeze. Here it is easy consideration. Luck has by far the best drops. Bonk and Medallion be the best, but also getting 2 extra slow on our LED is pretty good. Rocket launcher and a metronome. I would rather use my metronome on the Uzi or an Aiden, get a little bit of extra haste on the board with the Aiden, or have like a really fast start on the core with the metronome and the Uzi. I value both of those more than the rocket launcher again. Here, this is okayish, but we still want to use anyway this at some point. So, and we get a new reroll of shops. Here we are not struggling with gold, so we don't need to grab the vault. In general, this is just a decent amount of gold, but gold is no consideration here. I don't need to double my income. I don't care about income. Maybe Pygmalion sees this different, but I'm not a Pygmalion. I take the fight here. That is also a decent amount of gold, as well as maybe incendiary rounds, and 4 XP is half a level kinda. Thank you so much, Petulant, Puffbird, and Plauto, or PL Auto, for the follow. Greatly appreciated. Merry Christmas.